Thank you for joining us. Our program today will focus on music. The last time I interviewed a singer, it was Shuli Natan, the famous girl from Israel who famously sang Jerusalem of Gold. Today we have the pleasure of having Amanda Cohen, a spectacular American singer, and her husband, producer Professor Paul Cohen, who will not only tell us about a new album, but will also show us a behind-the-scenes video of her recording it. This, along with one of her favorite songs, right after these messages. To learn more about the Life Extension Foundation and free membership, go to prolongevity.com. With us now are Paul Cohen and Amanda Cohen. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show finally.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Richard.
You know, I was listening to this album, this CD of yours, and it is superb. It really is excellent. And here's the problem. I rarely have much really very, very positive to say about anyone's work. And it's such a pleasure for me to actually have something complimentary to say about creative work. And this is outstanding, really outstanding. Tell us about it, Paul.
Well, this album was a big band production, and we had it produced in Nashville under AMC Nashville Records, using one of the top producers in Nashville, Buddy Hyatt, and his top studio musicians. And we were very, very pleased with the outcome. The first time we were there, we did one song, and we liked it so much that we came back and we did the entire production.
It's really outstanding, Paul. Amanda, did you select the songs, or was it Paul?
We actually chose the songs together. These happen to be songs that I absolutely adore, and I absolutely adore the original artists that performed these songs. I wanted to take the signature songs of Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Sophie Tucker, Judy Garland, Al Jolson, Jimmy Roselli, and Patti Page, and I wanted to reproduce these wonderful songs that they have done in a more contemporary vein. So the orchestrations are very contemporary, and they gave me a chance to really perform the songs the way I would like to perform them and make them my own.
Well, I know you brought with you a video that was done actually in the recording studio. And I'd like to share this with our audience because it's just amazing.
Hi, I'm Amanda Cohen, and I'm here in Nashville. I'm at the Tracking Room recording an album with the finest musicians and the best producers anyone can ever work with.
One that they could croon as only they can. They only
Nashville is the greatest place to create this album in the South, where so much great music has originated. I'm crooning and belting new life into what you would call old cherished standards, some of the songs even going back to the early 1900s, but with a contemporary twist.
yeah, some of these days. Oh, after you've gone.
My goal is to create a chill in the music that reaches inside and takes you to a very special place.
I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee waltz when an old friend I happened to see. I introduced her.
Ricky was invited to one of my concerts in South Florida, and we got to talking, and here I am. I really believe that this was all meant to be. Creating this album of music that has been in my heart all my life is a culmination of my life's work as a singer and performer. I am enjoying this entire experience so much. When creative people come together, like Ricky producing and working with everyone, and Buddy Hyatt producing and arranging and directing these great musicians, there's a synergy that happens, a perfect combination of song, voice, and style.
I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a queen. I've been up and down and over and out, and I know one thing, that each time I find myself.
I love the big band sound with the horns and the string sections. They work together to create a very dynamic mood for the song. This A-team of musicians are taking these songs to a whole new level and bringing out the best in me. This album will be released so that I can share this with the world, touch people, bring back the romance in music, and let the world know that dreams really do come true. So stay tuned.
Well, we're back here with Amanda and Paul. Amanda, that's really amazing. What an experience. And of course, you did an entire album. What stands out as the most exciting moment in all of that process?
The exciting moment was actually being in this large studio with top musicians. These musicians are in demand, and they are musicians that play on many top artists' productions. And they just know how to wrap themselves around the artist. And the idea of having my own creativity come out and have them play around me with my pace, in my key, the way I wanted to sing the song, was just over the top wonderful. It was just wonderful, as really you can hear in the album itself.
This was recorded in Nashville, yes. Which studio was it, Paul?
We were in the tracking room. The tracking room is world famous. Almost every major artist has been in the tracking room. It's huge. They could put two full orchestras into the tracking room. And it's all live production. We used no MIDI at all, and it was all done live at the studio, which is something that we never had a chance to do in her other two albums. So we were really proud that we were able to accomplish such a great production.
You refer to MIDI being the synthetic instrument rather than the real instruments which you had in your recording.
Exactly. With Pro Tools and digital recording, the MIDI has come a long way, and most artists don't have the budget to do something to this extent, and they use a lot of MIDI. And we decided for this project we didn't want to do any MIDI. We wanted it all to be live. We wanted it to be at the studio, simultaneous, to sing when she was singing around her, and we really accomplished that.
Again, the quality is just superb, really. You know, listening to the music, I found the horn arrangements particularly of interest. What are your thoughts on that?
The horn arrangements are absolutely amazing. They were orchestrated and put together by a gentleman named Jim Hoke, who is a wonderful musician, and he is actually in demand around the world. Everybody wants him to do their horn arrangements because they come out so brilliant and so interesting and so contemporary. So he was wonderful. In getting my production done, working with Buddy Hyatt, who was my pianist, working together with the other musicians and fitting everything together. It was just fabulous.
Yeah, we were very lucky to have some of the best musicians in Nashville on this CD project. So we're proud of the results.
Of course, and now you're in demand in all sorts of high-end venues for special performances. And of interest to me in particular is the fact that you are invited to go to Israel to do some special programs there, special performances that you are donating actually to the IDF and other organizations. I think that's very, very commendable.
Yes, this is a very exciting project for me, and I'm looking so forward to it. I just want to touch everyone there and give my support to Israel and my love for Israel. And the thing I can give most of myself is my creativity and my art. So yes, I am looking forward to that.
Paul, just to change topics for a second, you are actually a professor, a university professor, both at Nova Southeastern and also FAU, in a different area than music, actually, even though you produced this album and the prior albums that Amanda has so wonderfully created. You produced her prior albums and are actually a professor in marketing, as mentioned. So how does that all fit in?
Well, everything in the world is marketing, and it's no different. The product happens to be my wife, and she's a great vocalist. And we picked the music and we picked the genre for her. She sings in 10 different genres, but the standards is, in my opinion, her best genre. And because you can make them your own, and that's exactly what we accomplished. And she really did a wonderful job on the CD.
Tell us a little bit about your past, what you did long before you started singing.
Being from New York, I was exposed to all types of music and loved all types of music. I fell in love with the harmonies of the 50s and 60s and ventured a little bit into that area away from the standards to see what would happen in that area. And when I moved to Florida, I formed a group called the Earth Angels, and it was 2 backup singers, sometimes 3, and myself as the lead singer. And we performed in oldies reviews with the Coasters, the original Platters, the original Coasters, the Del Vikings, the Temptations, all the big groups, which was a lot of fun. And I did that for a while, and then I became the doo-wop queen, and I toured Florida with my doo-wop show with male backup singers, and that was very nice too. I then decided that really my love is the standards. I wanted to go back to that music of the 20s, 30s, and 40s, which just kept haunting my life. That was the type of music that I should be doing, just as my mentor told me years ago. And I think being a contemporary artist, you do find that you encompass everything in your life that you've experienced, your likes for different types of music, and you put it all into your project and what you're doing. And I think that's what I did here.
To add to that, she she embellished on belting and crooning, which was some of the music of Frank Sinatra and others years ago that kind of faded out to a certain extent. And she's a belter and a crooner, and that's what makes her so different than other artists. She belts and croons these songs, and it's very unique. There's no other artist that sings the way that Amanda does.
I'd like us to continue and discuss this album a little further, but we have to pause for these commercial messages. We'll be right back. We're back with Amanda and Paul Cohen. Looking at this beautiful CD and having listened to it, it really is, as I said earlier, quite spectacular. And actually, where can people purchase it?
Well, you can go to my website if you want to purchase the physical album, amandacohenmusic.com. And with the PayPal account, you can purchase the physical album. Or you can go to iTunes and you can download the music, or you can go to Louder FM, which is LOUDR FM, and you can hear snippets of the songs, 30 seconds of each song, and you can download there as well.
There's a link on Louder on her webpage, on the first homepage, and it'll go right to Louder, and you could even see that behind the scenes video that we've seen before. It's linked to that, and when you're at the website, there's many different things to look at, so spend some time and look through the website with all the different subheadings.
And I'm told that it's been heard on the radio here in South Florida and elsewhere. What's being done to promote your music on the airwaves?
Well, getting your music on the airwaves is it's a matter of getting the radio industry to get to know who you are, and start playing your music, and it's already starting to happen for me. I was featured on Dick Robinson's Music by the Sea, Yada Music. He really was very, very impressed with this album, and he expressed so. And he played a particular song that he just fell in love with, and that's Birth of the Blues. So if you'd like to hear it.
Absolutely, certainly we should listen to it. Birth of the Blues by Amanda Cohen.
They say some people long ago were searching for a different tune, one that they could croon as only they can. They only had the rhythm, so they started swaying to and fro. They didn't know just what to use. This is how the blues really began. They heard the breeze in the trees whisper sweet melodies, and they made that the start of the blues. And from a jail came the wail of a down-hearted frail, and they played that as a part of the blues. From a whippoorwill way up on a hill, they took a new note, pushed it through a horn until it was born into a blue note. And then they nursed it, they rehearsed it, and then sent out that news that the Southland gave birth to the blues. They nursed it, and then they rehearsed it, and then they sent out the news that the Southland gave birth to the blues. The Southland, they gave birth to the blues. Oh,
Amanda, that was really spectacular. And I'd like to ask you, thinking of these albums, this one and prior albums, what are your plans for the future?
Oh, this just isn't enough. It's roughly 40 minutes of music. And people have said, oh, is that it? You know, they can't believe after they listen to the album that it's over. And they listen to this album multiple times. So that is a wonderful thing in itself, that people are really enjoying it and loving it. And I'm hearing that they want more. They want me to do more. And I have so many songs that I'd like to do. As a matter of fact, there's an original song on this album called When Does the Hurtin' Stop? My producer wrote it when he was 18 years old. He's now 50. He wrote it when he was 18. It was the first song he ever wrote, and he's written many, many songs after that. He's a well-known producer in Nashville, and he did a beautiful job. He sent me so many songs to choose from, and this is the one that touched my heart. And I know I've been touching others with it because they've been telling me that. So I do want to do more original material, and I have a lot of other cover tunes in my mind that I'd love to do and stylize in my own way. So there'll be more albums coming. I'm just going to, I want to see what happens with this. I want to get it out there, and then I want to continue to produce music.
We named the album A New Standard so that she could take the old standards from the Great American Songbook and make them new again, and also she could take new songs and make them new again in the same vein as the old songs. So that is why we call the album A New Standard.
What I find interesting is there's so many people in the music and entertainment industry who are talented and fine people, but also quite a few who are not at all inspiring. It so happens that the two of you are people with inspiration, dedication, ideology, values. You really are a pretty outstanding individuals, if you don't mind my saying so, and that kind of sets you apart from so many others who don't really care much about anything or any particular message. They just want to do their thing. So you're the most idealistic producer and singer I've actually ever met, because I know that you do many, many other things other than sing. Tell us a little bit about the serious aspect or serious components of Paul and Amanda Cohen.
Well, I was a marketing professor for 35 years. I taught for Florida Atlantic University. I recently retired. Before that, I taught for Nova Southeastern University. I was also the chair of the Bachelor Program of Marketing and Management for the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and before that I was actually a professor at the College of Staten Island, part of the City University of New York. So I've done a lot of consulting work, and I like to take on different marketing projects.
Well, you certainly are so very much involved in education and imparting something meaningful to students and others, both of you, in the things that you're doing, and that's highly commendable, and a real privilege to listen to your music and a privilege to promote it. Well, I must say, it really has been a great pleasure and privilege to have you on the Shalom Show.
Pleasure for us to be here.
We have to do this again one of these days.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I'll be right back. This concludes our special program for today from On Location in South Florida. I'm Richard Peritz. Thank you for being with us.